conversation because it means a lot to me hearing it from you. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
real purpose behind this the song, and you were just saying on Access TV there that you had a co-writer of this song, and there was some real true meaning behind the song. Can we just carry on with that part?
Oh, he froze again.
I'm just doing. I don't know what to say here, but anyway, we're just going to kind of wait for him to come back.
I'm
I don't know
here.
what this.
Oh, there he
I'm
is. There he
He's
is.
I'm here.
here.
I'm here. I'm
Go
here.
ahead, Carl. We'll just get you on now.
Yeah. So thank you, Don. So I had a co-writer and Jackie Jack White, and Jackie and I started writing the song, and we wrote it, we shredded the words, we wrote it, we shredded the words, we prayed about it, we cried about it, and Jackie's white, I'm black, and we got a chance to talk about where we came from and what we experienced as two individuals, and it was through that whole process as well that I began I fell more in love with Jack because of who he was, because we took the time to really understand one another. So we wrote this song, and I stand with this country, and it basically means, we stand with the good part of our country. We stand for peace and harmony. We stand for love and diversity. You know, we don't stand for burning businesses. We don't stand for those kind of. We stand for peaceful protests. We stand for the right for people to be Democrat, Republican, Independent, or whatever their parties are, and we stand for the right that we can disagree, but we don't have to hate each other or try to hurt each other. And we all live in this country. We all live in this world. And the question is, when you leave this earth, how do you leave it better than it was before? And that's a broad statement. And I know there's a lot of stuff there, but we wrote this song and produced the video, and we've got over 350,000 views on this video.
Yeah,
We've
it's going pretty good. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and then also we've got so many comments, people crying about the song, people saying they had to forgive someone, people having a change of heart, and I will tell you there's been some hateful messages as well, but our response to that is, if you have a problem with this video or this song, then this song and video is probably written just for you, because it's really about your heart. It's about the
Well, the way I
hearts
look
of
at it,
men.
Carl,
And
if they're
if a
if
man's
they're
heart
actually
is
sending
good,
you,
then what comes out of it will be honesty, decency, respect. And
I think I froze them again.
Yep.
Well, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to keep saying what I was going to say while he's coming back anyway. But the issue with this whole thing, this black white thing, um, I don't get it. And it must be quite a challenge, to have a black man and a white man sit in a room and write a song like this. What a great song! If you haven't heard it, is "I Stand with This Country," and a lot of meaning in that song, like true meaning in that song, and it just. I know you've heard it obviously because you're preparing for the show. But if you haven't heard that song, take the time to look at it and really listen to it. And it says a lot. For me to say that, that's pretty cool because for me to pay attention to something like that that's happening in another country, and we all know sauerkraut that this whole riots and the right to protest is one thing, but when you start looting and destroying people's property, it becomes an issue.
Yeah, no, for sure. It definitely becomes an issue as well, and I'm sure Carl would be better to comment on that because we don't have as much of the looting and rioting going on here in Canada. I haven't seen any real major stuff. There's some
No.
stuff that went on in Toronto, but that was just some crazy stuff altogether. Not I don't even think it was related to the riots. But
Well, you as a Canadian, let's put
yep.
it this way: you as a Canadian, when we're watching the news and you see all that happening, what do you think about it? Like, what is in your head? Like you live right there, stone throw. Like you can throw a baseball across in Buffalo.
Right.
So, you're pretty close to all that stuff. Like in the back of your mind, like, what do you really think about that? Like when you see them burning stuff and, this whole thing of this protests and rioting, it's not just one race of people. So let's put that out there too. It's not just, the
No,
African
it's
American folks, black folks. It's white and black and Hispanic and the whole world out there, protesting. Do you think really though? I was thinking about this today. This a little bit earlier when we were talking to Carl. Is this people just had enough with government ridiculous shit that they do?
yeah.
Are people just standing up and just saying we've had enough?
It's hard to say. So a lot of people are just there just because there's an opportunity to cause shit, for lack of a better word. There's an opportunity to go out there, cause trouble. So that's why they're out there. Which those people are taken away from the actual um, legitimate problem at hand, right? The
Yeah.
legitimate problem at hand, whether it be police brutality or whether it be a black and white issue. Hey, Carl, thank you for getting back. But with the protesters, not the protesters. I mean, protesters, peaceful protest is one thing, but when you start burning and looting and trashing police cars and stuff like that, at that point it takes away from the whole entire the message, and that's unfortunate because there is a real message that should be heard and that needs to be heard, but a lot of people just get fed up with it, and when these protests go bad, that's when it starts to take
Yeah, and
away,
it takes
right?
the whole limelight off what the real issue is, in my opinion, anyway.
Right.
But Carl, there's something I wanted to ask you now that you're back. You're talking about Jackie Jack White, and I'm saying that you're white, he's black, or the other way around. He's white, you're black, and did the thought pattern come by differently? Like, did you find yourselves thinking when you're writing this song differently because he's white, you're black,
Yeah,
or did it just come together?
absolutely. And I'm not sure if you can hear me, but you know, there were times where Jack would challenge my thinking.
Oh, he froze again.
Wow. Yeah, he did say they were having some cloudy weather there in Atlanta. Maybe storms interrupting. I don't know, but that's too bad because that's an important question, and just to get the different thought pattern in a songwriting situation like that, in a song that actually stands for so much, like
Yeah,
to have a white guy and a black guy write it together, thought patterns and the different way we think, because of course, Carl's way of thinking and maybe Jackie's way of thinking, totally different, but to come together and make such a great song, it's
right,
pretty cool.
right. And so,
There he is.
like Jack, we didn't talk about this part, but when you were talking, I started thinking about it. But we talked about similar things. Like, I don't believe Jack. I haven't talked to him. I don't believe Jack has ever walked up into a restaurant to go into a restaurant and had the sign turned from open to close and the door locked. Right. So
Yes.
I don't know if Jack's ever been yanked out of a police car like me, and then asked to lay on the ground and get searched and have your car. So we had different experiences, but the song is not about. It's not about. Um, it's not about trying to decide what is really who's really right or wrong. We're saying that we all have an opportunity in our heart. That's what we're saying. We're saying that from protesters to people on the street to people who, for example, we had over 300 people viewing the video. I will tell you, Don, what was so interesting about that is that the people who hated the message in the song, they loved the song, they just didn't like the video. They all said that they would have loved this song if you would have not had Nancy Pelosi in the video. They didn't say they didn't say Don. They didn't say uh, I didn't like this video because of Trump. I didn't like it because of Biden, or I didn't like it because of whatever. It was all Nancy Pelosi, and it was a handful of them. But all of the people who had negative feedback on it, they all said that about Nancy. And then the other pieces, there was one black guy who said, "Carl, you should have unloaded on white America for treating us a certain way." And
Did we lose him again, buddy?
Yeah, he went down
this
again.
song is
Oh, there he is.
Oh,
You're
there
you're
he is.
back. You're back. Keep
Yeah.
going.
Yes. So one black guy said, "Well, Carl, you should have unloaded on white America with this song, and just, said that they are this and they did this." And I told him, I said, "Look, man, this is not what this song is about. This song is about bringing people together and stopping the rhetoric." I said, "We need to come to the table and chat and talk about how we can make it better." And I believe on different scales, we're doing that across the country, around the world. And when I talk about my country, I'm talking about your country. So this song could be your country wherever you are. There are things going on in your country, but it's going on in your household too. And so, the Bible says charity starts at home and spreads abroad. So you gotta get yourself together at home, with your family, with your
Well,
friends.
that's it. And racism is taught. It's not something you just born with.
Yeah,
And Carl, the only thing I have with this whole race thing, is that racism is just not one race. There's racism within races in general. It doesn't matter if it's white, black. It could be, Puerto Rican white. It could, they don't like white folks. The black folks don't like white folks. The white folks don't like black folks. And I just don't understand why we all can't just come together and get along.
Yeah.
We're just folks.
We all bleed the same.
What's interesting is when I play country music and I go out and I perform, quite frankly, sometimes I'm only black there, right?
Yeah.
But what's interesting is maybe they see me as being black, but those people receive the music. They treat me with the utmost respect. They buy my records.
That's important.
They support me. And so I've had conversations with Klan members. I've had conversations with people who have never had black people in their homes. And this music has opened up the door for us to get to know each other better, so that we can walk away saying, "Man, you know what? This guy is really all right. He may be different from me, but he's okay." And you're right. Even in I think when we talk about racism on a larger scale, we're talking about blacks are talking about the injustices that they've had over the centuries or over the past. But inside of every group, to your point, there's racism, right? There are people who feel like, "Carl, you shouldn't be singing hick music. Why are you singing that country music? That's not your music." So they try to put you in a box, right? So I don't try to put people in boxes. If they're flowing in television or wherever they feel like they love and they're passionate about, then you find a way to support their passion and help people get to where they need to be. So yeah.
That can't be more of a true statement. Like when you're dealing with guys like in the country music field, let's use Charlie Pride, Darius Rucker, stuff like that. Both successful black country entertainers. Darius Rucker, of course, you in the news fame. I've heard them on other interviews talking about the struggles of being a black man in country music. Do you find that still today?
Yeah, I do in many ways, but I have a different take on it. When I first started going to Nashville years ago, I would go to what it was called Fanfare at the time. It's now called the CMA Festival, but back in the day, it was called Fanfare. That's where country music was
I had a good time at Fanfare.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
There is no better country party than Fanfare, man. I'm telling you what.
You know what I'm saying?
What a week that is.
Oh
Oh
man,
man.
it's incredible, right? It's
Let's just
incredible.
say, during fanfare, there's a lot of long necks going down the throat.
I, I had a
What a
few of
good
those
time, man.
myself.
What a good time. I had such a great time there.
Well, that's where I really learned a
Go
lot
ahead,
about the
Carl.
industry, and and I also learned a lot about the business side. Now I have a business background, and so one thing I know is that typically when you're in business, you're going to invest your money where you believe you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck. Now, in the past, the biggest audience who purchased country music was white. And 95%, it may have been low, it's low, probably lower now, but maybe between 80 and 90% of Caucasians buy country music. And so when you're a record executive and you have two or three artists, and it's costing you $200,000 and $300,000, maybe $500,000 to break an artist. Typically, you're thinking about it from your perspective, your skewed perspective. Hey, it's got to be white. They got to be white because they're going to go to a white audience, and it's going to cost me less money to break a, uh, a, a white artist than a black artist. That's the way some of them used to think. And then,
And that corporate bubble, that what I call the corporate bubble in the record industry. And people, I get emails every day asking me, why do I play so many independent artists? And it's because I say, like, what is the difference of the name? They're all artists, they're great music. And I said to him, I says, let me tell you something. I've been to some of the best country clubs in North America, and I've been to the worst dive bars in North America. And what do they have in common? And he couldn't answer me. Well, he said class, but I said, you're wrong. I said, they have nothing, they have everything in common and nothing in common. The only thing that's in common is there's a bunch of great folks there listening to great country music by more than likely someone they've never heard of before.
absolutely.
And I said, if I could bring that independent artist to the limelight around the world, and we're heard in 5 countries now. And man, it's just growing now with
So,
access TV and everything. This whole thing is blowing right out of my mind anyway.
Yeah.
But that is why, is because guys like you are out there struggling to get people to hear your music, and you're fine entertainers. And you just don't get that. You said it, you don't fit that corporate bubble because you're not white. It might cost them a little more promotion money to get Carl out there because he's a black man. Do you think that, Darius Rucker and all them, in the start, they must have went through the same thing. And
yeah, so,
it amazes me that it's 2020 and this corporate bubble hasn't opened their eyes and said, you know, that big F word. Like, what the, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
this is crazy. I
Now,
hate the corporate bubble. You might notice that.
yeah. Well, I will tell you, over the years, a lot of the black country music artists have spent a lot of time educating communities. We've talked at schools and colleges. We've been on radio. We've done interviews. Just did one with the Rolling Stones recently, and so we're constantly educating. And I will tell you that I'm really excited about what I see in terms of some of the shifting with country music when it comes to black, because you mentioned Charlie. He used to be the only one, and then Darius came on board, and he's kind of the flagship artist right now. But you also have Kane Brown, you have Jimmy Allen, you have Mickey Guyton, right? You have Reese Palmer. You have Carl. You have a lot of artists of color, and a lot of them now have record deals, and that just wasn't heard of when I was going to Fanfare years ago. So the industry's changing, and it's changing primarily because our culture has somewhat changed. You've got more whites buying rap music, and you got more of the culture mixing. So a lot of the control of separations of classes that we used to have, they're no longer there. So now people are getting together. They're learning more about one another. They're feeling more at ease with one another, and so we see some light at the end of the tunnel. And Darius is a perfect example. Coming from Hootie and the Blowfish, he bought along with him to country music. He bought money with him. He bought a
Yes, he did.
fan base. So not taking away from his talent, because he's great, But when you don't have to break an artist in country music like that, it's a it's a beautiful thing. But
Well, Darius is kind of in that limelight. You're right. He brought the money with him. He brought the fame and the notoriety, and people go to listen to him just because he's Darius Rucker from Huey Lewis, and they want to know what he's doing on the countryside.
yeah,
Like when he first came into the country music, like even I got to tell you, as a country music broadcaster,
yeah,
it was like, huh,
yeah,
Darius
yeah,
Rucker,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden, like I've heard Darius talk about when he wanted to do the song Wagon Wheel, and everybody said, "Nah, you can't do that, man. You're a black guy. You can't do that. You're never going to make any money. That's a shitty song." And look at where it went with him. And he stuck to his guns, man. But a new entertainer in this world of what we call country music doesn't have that option. Once you get your hands wrapped around that corporate whistle, they're going to mold you and guide you to where you want. And that's why I play great indie music, is because you're still you.
Yeah.
yeah.
One thing I want to just pop in here real quick. I apologize. Darius Rucker's from Hootie and the Blowfish, though, isn't he? Or was he with Huey Lewis and the Blues?
Hootie and the
Hootie and the Blowfish. Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, I got it wrong.
Yeah. That's okay. I just wanted to correct it. But I also want to chime in here.
I'm getting 100
people telling you that you're wrong. Yeah, I'm also want to chime in here. We got a couple new subscribers today to the channel. If you noticed, it pops up here while we're watching. It will show new subscriber. We got 2 new followers already today. So, guys, keep up the good work. Unfortunately, I lost control of the chat on the YouTube for whatever reason. I'll probably bring my nephew back in here to get him to set it back up for me. But I do have control of the chat for the actual radio station still. So you can jump between the chats over at axisradio.ca/country music, or country-music rather. There is a chat there, and you'll see that is actually, as we're live streaming, that is changing live as we go too. So you can watch us many different places. We got a couple people listening or watching on Twitch right now. I'm just looking on the screen there. Got a couple people watching on YouTube, and we got quite a few people listening on the station. So we have people all over the place. So if you check us out, for example, at Twitch, just go onto Twitch and search Axis Radio, all one word, AXISRADIO. You can find the videos there. If you jump over to YouTube, it's just put Axis Radio 1, and you'll find us there. And like I said, you can also just listen to us on our station. So, we appreciate wherever you're listening to us from. Subscribe, follow us. Papa Bear's listening from 2 places he mentioned right now, so there you go. Listen to us at all 3 places right now. That would be perfect. The more places you listen, the better it is for us, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, no doubt.
the other thing you'll notice in the bottom corner here now, we actually have a space for our sponsor. So there's a sponsor banner that keeps flashing up and down. So today's sponsor, obviously, Ontario Fire Prevention Services. They sponsor a lot of our stuff, most of our stuff, all of our stuff. But hey, if you have a business and you want to sponsor a video too, hit us up, and we'll put a banner down at the bottom of our next interview with, maybe with one of our other country music artists, and it will show up there as well. So there you guys go.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm done talking now. I'm done talking now. Go ahead. Continue your show. You lost my sound?
No, I got you back. No, you just kind of broke and then came right back.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, so you got all that commercial stuff done.
Yeah, I got all the important stuff done. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good time, you know what? Because I have us sitting here right at 7:38 in the Rocky Mountains. You're with the Don Pierce Show, coast to coast, and we are in conversation with Mr. Carl Ray, country music sensation. We are talking about his new hit single, I Stand With This Country, and we'll be back right after these commercial breaks.
Hey, I'm going to try something else.
Okay,
here.
Hey, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm going to try something else here because
I'd get a commercial.
Yeah, I've got a way that I can actually block us out from YouTube, and we can continue to talk to each other. And then it just kind of it's funny. Hold on one second. Let's do this. Let's see what people say when I do this. All right. So now it just says
They're going to be upset with you.
Yeah, no, it says we'll be right back, and that's all they see right now. So I don't
That's all
know.
it says.
Yeah, I don't know if they can hear us or whatnot, but it just.
I hope they can hear us.
Yeah, well, it's pretty funny if they can't.
I'm not made for TV, so.
Yeah, I can also
anyway,
switch
Carl, that was
here. Yep, go.
I'm going to hit your.
I got kicked
we're
out.
going to hit the song up right after the commercial. I'm going to play the song. We're going to talk a little bit more about it, and then we're going to get into some of your new stuff. How's that?
Yeah,
Did I lose Carl?
He said that he got kicked out, and then he disappeared. So I think we lost him.
No, he calls back. Just play the song like this.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Let me.
So this is pretty cool. This whole Access TV thing.
Yep.
What are you doing now?
Yes, sir.
He's back.
I'm back.
There you go. So anyway, Carl, I'm going to play your song. We'll talk a little bit more about it, and then we're going to talk about what's going on in Carl's life in the future.
Okay, thanks.
I got to get the song in.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You guys can't play video though, right?
We can, but I mean.
Don't worry about it. If you
do it live.
Yeah, I haven't figured it. I haven't set it up yet. So, yeah, live I probably could actually, to tell you the truth. But yeah, you're talking about your video for.
Yeah, I stand with this.
I stand with this country. Yeah.
It's on right now, but can you put the video on there of his?
No,
on the TV part.
I can. There's a way, but it's going to take me a while to figure out, and that's why
You're going to get copyrighted.
No, I don't. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah,
I just don't want to screw anything. I just don't want to screw anything else up either, right? So it's that's the whole thing. So I mean, we can put up a video and we can talk about a video while it's up without getting. As long as we're talking over it, they can't copyright us, and that's fine. But there's
a way that Carl's song playing in the background, though, right?
Yeah. But there's a way I can do it, but unfortunately, like I said, I didn't prepare to do that. I apologize. The next time you come on, I will have that ready, and that will be something that we can do.
Awesome. Well, thank
what
you.
he's telling you about it, what he's saying, Carl, is, hey, man, you just came up with a great idea, and I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I actually did think about it, but I didn't think to do it because I didn't know if it would come up or not. But now that it's come up, we can definitely do that. Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about is, well, I forgot what I was going to say. I got some noise going on in the background. Don't worry about it.
Well,
How about getting?
Oh, are you planning on doing any live songs? That's what I was talking about, Carl.
Well, I'm a little concerned now, with it fading in and out.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if I can, but
we don't have to, Carl. We can keep talking instead.
I didn't want to play and then stop and
we'll get this ironed out first.
Yeah.
The song's playing now, and we'll just continue talking about it. And the next time you come, we'll be a little more prepared for you to play live and get this video up on our channels as we're doing it.
I'd love to. And I'll probably try and encourage
What do you think about human trafficking?
Oh, man.
Gonna nail you. It's our big cause, man. It's our big cause here at the station.
So here in Atlanta, Atlanta is one of those cities that has a lot of human trafficking here, and and it just kills me, and it's one of those things that unfortunately I find myself talking to my daughter and my son about more and more when they go out. They're older now, but we spend a lot of time talking about where you go, what you drink, how to recognize certain things. And I know people who have been kidnapped as a part of human trafficking, and they got out, and now they are mentors and who work with the local police department to help educate them on what to look for when at the airports and at a lot of different areas. So I just think one of those ugly things that exists in our cities, and it just makes me sick.
Big cause for us here. We're doing a big Halloween blowout. We're calling it Access Spectacular, and it's all in part to make awareness for human trafficking. A lot of artists coming aboard. Just give me a sec, Carl. There you go. I stand with this country, Mr. Carl Ray right there. We have Carl Ray live right in here with us via Zoom. Carl, what a great song, man. Just played through the air there. Unfortunately, of course, on the TV side, it's not been played. But if you want to hear that song, man, where can they find this song, Carl?
Oh, he froze.
Did he freeze again?
Yes, he froze.
I'm having a day with this show, man.
Yeah. It's okay. Oh, he's back. I saw his smile go.
Yeah.
It's okay, Carl.
Well, so where can
Yeah.
people
What a great song.
find your song? Don was saying.
Yeah, so anywhere music is sold online, Apple, even Spotify if you have Spotify account, but
Yeah.
it's all of that.
Our big thing with
online.
Spotify is that you guys don't get paid very much on Spotify. Is that correct?
No, that's correct. And really, in the industry as a whole, it's a pennies business.
Yes. But a lot of pennies added up over time, and it works out. Yes, but
Yes,
definitely
yeah.
with Spotify, it's probably the lowest that you get paid.
Yeah.
If people actually buy it from iTunes, it is the best, right?
Yeah, you buy from iTunes, always the best. And there are other vehicles where they can buy Amazon.
Amazon,
you know,
or direct from
my-
you, obviously, too, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure.
direct from me. Walmart carries some of my product online
Oh,
as
nice,
well.
nice.
Yeah,
Good,
and
good.
so they can get it there. And then of course the video I Stand With This Country. We're asking people to go to YouTube and search for I Stand With This Country by Carl Ray and give it a listen, because the video really speaks volumes to the song. It brings it all together, and something about the visual as well I think will impact your listeners, and just really start thinking about how can you make your country that you stand for better wherever you are, your block better, your home better, and let's try and remove the hate even when we disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
it's a great
important.
song. It's a great song.
Like you're living in Atlanta, Georgia right now,
Yeah,
Carl.
I'm in
And
Atlanta.
yeah, like there's a lot of talk on our Canadian news about your police force in Atlanta. A lot of them quitting and hanging up the badge. And overall this animosity towards police forces. Is that affecting Atlanta as a city in a whole?
Well, when I saw that story, I was really saddened by it, for many reasons, because I know the long-term effect of hate. It creates these things in our communities, in our family. It's inevitable when you have so much hate, distrust. Because police officers are saying, I don't have the good police officers. They're saying, I really don't have to take this kind of thing. I don't have to be treated like this. I'm doing my job. I'm not talking about those few bad apples, but it's a lot of pressure on them. But it's a lot of pressure on our communities as well. And there's got to be we call it a sweet spot. There's got to be a sweet spot that we all find where we're sober enough to know that one, people are going to make mistakes, especially when they're policing. But we also know when things happen, people are shot 7 times in the back or knees on the neck. That stuff we can't tolerate, right? So I stand with this country. I stand for the police officers who want to do the right thing, even if they make a mistake. They didn't mean to they made a mistake. We all make mistakes, but clearly the people who have a history of creating havoc on not only black people but Hispanic, you name it. It's just not right. So I stand with those people who want to be the best police officers in the world. They want to do the best job for our communities, and they want respect from us. And I think we need to give it to them.
Yeah. No.
No, when you're
and
talking
you're
about
right.
this.
You're right for sure. Go ahead, Don. there's a delay between
Just
your
wondering,
computer
Carl,
and
when
mine.
you're delayed. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm wondering, Carl, when you talk to your children about this, is it a hard conversation to have with your kids?
Yeah, the good news about my family is I raised them talking about everything, from drugs, sex, rock and roll, their daddy not being perfect, to what I used to be, to what I hope to be. Uh, and I've taught them that they cannot be consumers in this world. You just can't consume, but you have to find a way to give back. You have and make this world better. And so we've had hard conversations, and all of our lives we've talked about things. We've talked about racism, the things that I've experienced not only in country music but also growing up in the South. Um, and I've also talked to them about how they treat their friends and families, and the things that I see in them. Uh, but getting stopped by a police officer, how do you handle that, son? What should you do? Should you have your hands on the steering wheel? Just basic conversation. I find myself having to talk to teens about those things now because they're trying to figure out, is something going to happen to me? And so these conversations are real, um, and so we have to have them.
Yeah.
That is the same thing. You really have to talk to your children today. And like I said earlier, racism isn't something that we're born with; it's something that is taught. And us as parents, we have to teach we got to guide our children in the right path. And do you find it really hard now with COVID around and all the protests to really? Do you find it your children are having a hard time dealing with it as young black adults or children? I don't even know how old your kids are.
Yeah. So
but is it harder for young black adults today than it was for you?
Yeah, I think COVID is hard is hard on everybody, right? But especially for young people. I mean, even when you think about now, you have more young people gathering for spring breaks, and young people have this urge and propensity. I gotta go out. I gotta live. I gotta be myself, and they feel invincible. And so what you see is somewhat rebellion on their part too, because they're tired, and so they're in their minds. They're saying, "I believe nothing's going to happen to me. I'm trusting that nothing's going to happen. So I'm going to go out and do this." They're psyching themselves out, but when they get out there, sometimes they're impacted by COVID, and then they bring it home, and they get sick, and the cycle continues. And so again, it's a heart thing. It goes back to our hearts. It's a hard thing to do the right thing sometimes. It's just a hard thing. I need to write that song. It's a hard thing to do the right thing. I might write that song.
I'm telling you,
it's easier to do wrong.
Yeah, it's easier to do.
That's it.
That's a song right there, sauerkraut.
It could be. It is true. Like that has got to be more like one of the truest statements I've ever heard. And you're usually the cut up guy here, but really, it is. It's easier to do it wrong than it is to do it right, because doing it right involves work.
Yeah. And
you can't have a better statement than that, especially from you.
What's that supposed to be?
Jesus, you're surprising me today. You give this guy a TV station, you become smart all of a sudden. Like, what the heck's happening with you?
He's gonna want a show. He's gonna want a show.
I'm gonna want my own
John.
show. Yeah, it's like
he's gonna want his own show.
Call it like coffee with sauerkraut or something like that.
Sauerkraut and coffee.
You don't have your own show. He's actually got 2 or 3 of his own shows.
Actually, if you saw, I tilted the camera over a couple seconds ago. That was actually meatballs that had came in. So you guys, he didn't want to say nothing. He wasn't dressed for TV, so he's like, okay, I'm out of here. Before people see me, I'm out. So he stopped in real quick just to say
that. Was like me, like when you first started talking about this Access TV. What's the first thing I said to you? I ain't made for TV, dude.
Yeah.
But here we are. We're doing it anyway, man. Hey, you're with the Don Pierce Show, coast to coast, and we're in conversation right now with Mr. Carl Ray, right out of Atlanta, Georgia, originally from Houston area. Like, tell me the difference between Atlanta and living and growing up in Houston.
Oh, well, Texas is going to always be my home. I mean, I love Texas. Houston, my family's there. You know, my my best friend, sometimes he says I'm your godfather. Sometimes he says I'm your daddy. He's just kidding, but his name is Johnny Nash, and he's most known for a song called "I Can See Clearly Now the Rain Is Gone." I can see clearly now, and Johnny's there, and that's where I really learned to write music, country music, and he taught me really about the art of songwriting and about publishing in the music business. And so I'm not sure if he's listening, but Johnny is going to be 80 years old. He's 80 years old. His birthday was a couple weeks ago, and he's not doing too well. So Johnny, I'm not sure if you're out there and you're listening. I sent the information to connect to him earlier today, but I'm not sure if he got a chance to get on. But Johnny, if you're out there listening, brother, um, uh, it's going to be a bright, sunshiny day for you. So I love you, and I'm praying for you. Hope you and your family well. I hope to see you soon. So that's a separate little piece for Johnny. But all my family's there. Growing up there is where I cut my teeth on music, really. And I sang with quartets, I sang with bands, I sang with groups, and we opened up concerts for a lot of the the most notable rhythm and blues acts at the time. We opened up for B.B. King, for the Spinners. We opened up for Earth, Wind and Fire, and we opened up for a lot of these great artists. And we were a part. I was a part of a group called the Supernaturals because we had these big afros. I mean, they were big, man. I mean, they were big. I mean, bell bottoms, big afros, but we were called the Supernaturals. But we were really good. I mean, we were really good. And as a result of that, the promoters would allow us to open up the concerts for all of these acts they would bring in. So that's really how I got started. And then I started writing for Johnny. Johnny started recording some of my songs. And then, when he'd have artists come into town, he'd have me pitch them songs that I've written. And so I pitched songs to people like Roberta Flack, who was one of my favorites. And there was a guy named Peebo Bryson. And I pitched songs to the Commodores, and so I was a young writer. I was a really young writer. And in retrospect, I really don't think I was all that great, but Johnny had confidence in me, and we would write these songs and we would pitch them. So he said, "Carl, you're writing country songs now because they sound very much, they're story songs. So you should probably, delve into that a little more and see if you have a passion for it." And
well, I'm glad you stuck with it. You're a great entertainer, great song. I've been following your YouTube channel now since we've started chatting, and you've got a lot of great work out there. I noticed that during our conversation, you bring a reference, if God will help us and stuff. How big was religion and church into your career? But you see a lot of country stars. Well, their background is always church.
That's a great question, and that's a good question because I've never really, I think you're the first person that's asked me that question. So kudos to you, number one. But I firmly believe that we're here for a short period of time, and I also firmly believe that the good book says that your gift will make room for you. Your gift will make room for you. And I mean, I believe what that means is I may have a gift of music, right? But that's just going to open the door to do something really great for someone else.
To a lot of doors.
Yeah. So it opens the door. But now once the door is open, what do you say to people? How do you help people? How do you encourage people? How do you inspire people? And if you're not inspiring, I mean, that's what you do every day, Don. You try to inspire these folks who are sitting in their computers, or they're working, or they're mothers, and they're, maybe they're in the coal mines of Kentucky or wherever they are. You're trying to give them some hope. And so, our gift opens the door for us to say something important to them. And so I believe that God placed me on this earth, and I have a passion for reconciliation. And so this song fairly fits in that wheelhouse. It's talking about reconciling ourselves to God, number one, because if you're not reconciled to God, your heart can't be really changed. That's my personal opinion. We could debate that all day, uh, but I believe that He made us. We didn't make ourselves, and I can't even raise my hand. I can't even breathe unless the good Lord says, I give you the strength and power to do so. So when I wake up in the morning, sometimes I take for granted waking up, but then I quickly realize that I'm up today, not because of the alarm clock, because there's a lot of dead people who heard the alarm clock and didn't rise. But I'm walking today because the good Lord saw so fit to give me another chance. So today I'm going to try to make sure I say something and do something special for someone. And I'm not sure who your listeners are, where they are, but if they're sad by what they see in their world, uh, just keep hoping for the best. Just keep hoping, keep giving, keep 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 trying to make a difference where you can. So sometimes people think because you're hopeful, you're passive. And I'm not saying be passive. Sometimes you have to go and vote. Sometimes you have to get out and protest. Sometimes you have to do things, but stay hopeful, stay inspired, stay engaged. This is your world.
Kind of answered my next question, all in the same thing there. I was kind of saying, like as an artist, what could you tell a young artist today that is, struggling and trying to get their music out there? What is some of the advice you could give them? And I'm not talking black or white. I'm
Yeah,
just talking as a country artist, because that is exactly what you are. You're
yeah,
not a black man to me. You are just a country artist with fine music, and that is the kind of way I want you to approach it. Is like, what would you say to a young fella or young girl that came to you and say, Carl, I'm struggling. I'm thinking of giving up.
yeah. So, that's a man. You're just asking all the right questions, Don. Uh, and the reason I say
That's
that
my
is
job,
because
Carl.
so I love this story because it answers your question. It was several years ago. I had just come from Nashville, and that week I'd spent pitching songs, and I pitched songs to different publishers, and they'd say, "Okay, play me your best song, Carl." I play it. Play me your next best song, Carl. I play it. Play me your third best song, Carl. I play it. Then they would say, all of them would say, it's not good enough. Nah, nah. Come back when you got better songs. I mean, I got beat up that week in Nashville, and I drove home saying, "Man, I'm through with this crappy country music and all these idiots." I was just unloading on them, and it was Christmas Eve, um, where I should be thinking about Christmas and toys. My wife said, "Hey, I'm going shopping. Do you want to go?" I said, "No, I'm just going to stay here and just waddle in my own." I was just done. And I remember the phone ring, Don, and a friend of mine called me. He said, "Hey, Carl, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I didn't want to tell him I was pissed off and I was sitting here whining like a little baby. But I said, "Oh, I'm just sitting here relaxing a little bit." He said, "Well, listen, I want to bring a friend over to meet you. He wants to come meet you." And he had just bought a new truck from me. And my friend John was he owned a dealership, Dodge dealership there in Tulsa. He said, "This guy just bought a truck and he wants to test drive it." So, he said, "Well, let's go by Carl's house." And I said, "Well, why does he want to come by my house?" He says, "Well, I'll tell you when he get here, when we get there." So John didn't show up after 30 minutes. And I said, "Well, they're not coming." Then the phone rings. John says, "Carl, we can't get out of the dealership. And there's too many people. We just can't get out." And I said, "I'm still not understanding what's happening." So he says, "I'm going to let this guy talk to you, Carl. And then after we're done, I'll get back on the phone. So this guy gets on the phone, Don Sauerkraut. He says, Carl Ray, what's happening? I said, oh, not much. I said, who is this? He said, hey, this is Garth Brooks. And I said, what? He said, yeah, this is Garth Brooks. And I can't say what I said on the air because I thought I thought they were jagging with me, you know. And I said, man, don't be
Yeah.
screwing around with me. What is this? And he starts singing. I got friends in low place. He's just started. I said, Garth? He says, that's what I'm trying to tell you, man. He said, listen, he said, I was here to buy a truck for either his mother-in-law or his mom, I can't remember. And there were so many people in the front trying to get his autograph that my friend John took him to the back to fill out the paperwork. And my friend John had my music playing because he always.
Oh, right in the middle.
No. Great middle of a great story.
Yes, yes. But yeah, that's interesting. He got to meet Garth Brooks and whatnot.
Yes.
Just so that
I was
everybody
kind of that
knows.
day, like we were on the phone there, and I was. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how much you heard, but again, he called and he said, yeah, this is Garth. And he said, man, I wanted to come by the test drive the truck and surprise you because I knew you would have fainted. You know, I said, yeah, man, I would have fainted if Garth knocked on my door, right? And so he said, I don't know, for whatever it's worth. He said, look, man, I just felt like I had to call you. He said, I just wanted to tell you that you shouldn't give up. I said, what'd you say? He said, yeah, you shouldn't give up. He said, this business is tough. You're going to hear a bunch of words and people hating you. And he said, man, look, he said, I heard it. They said I wasn't good enough. He said, I'm just telling you, you know, that you're on to something, you know, and don't forget the giver of your gift. Right? He said, you have the gift. Just don't forget the giver of your gift. Now, he didn't say, Sauerkraut Don, hey, meet me tomorrow. I'm going to record you. Right? He didn't say any of that. So we hung up, and in the silence, I felt like God was saying, don't worry about any of this stuff, Carl. I have the ability to bring the best of everything to your doorstep. You don't have to finagle. You don't have to scheme. All you got to do is love what you're doing, write great music, care about people, and your gift will make room for you. So,
You know what? I've got to interrupt you right there, Carl, because you know what? I can't tell you how much, you know, hearing you say that, you know, every day I get emails and calls from people that saying, man, can you play my music? Nobody will play it. Nobody will play it. And, you know, and there's some music that, you know, quite frankly, you know, there's great music and there's terrific music.
yeah,
And
man.
there's a difference between great music and terrific music. And you're on the terrific music side. And
Thank
you do have a gift. And, you know, and just, I tell that to everybody too in broadcasting. You think it was easy for Sauerkraut and myself actually just to, you know, get onto the air and start a radio station? You know, they say, how do you get your guests? Like I'm talking to guys all over the world that have other radio stations. Like, how do you get these great country guests on your show? I said, I ask. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that simple. And I keep going forward, pushing ahead. Sauerkraut, like this guy must work 18, 19 hours a day on this radio station. I'm telling you, he's the engineer for every show. And perseverance is what makes someone get ahead and not quitting. And when you, that little bit of advice, you know, that little story, right now I have a lot of indie artists that listen to this show, you know, that are selling albums, but are just not quite making it. Tell people how long you've been in the industry in a whole, because I want people to know this.
Yeah. So, you know, I started, man, 30 years ago in the industry.
It's not an overnight friggin',
It's,
you know,
it's
like
not,
your success story didn't happen.
30 years ago. And then, you know, with the country music, you know, that's what I tell people, you know, and quite frankly, sometimes I learn that about a lot of people where you see them making large sums of money or becoming famous or whatever it is, you sometimes think that they just started, but they cut their teeth on a lot of things over the years. They played a lot of small town bars, and they did a bunch of interviews, and they made a lot of records. And but you just keep going, because when you think about it, Sauerkraut and Don, there are a lot of great country artists who don't even have record deals anymore. So what I would also say to those young people is that this business is not what it used to be. But if you understand the whole internet side of it, because it's a new business, social media, YouTube, connecting online radio, how to create a fan base, how to make sure you're.
All right. So we have how to make a fan base, but then he froze again. But so what's happening, just so that people are aware, sometimes the internet through Wi-Fi is not as reliable as we would always hope. So that's why we always come and hardwire in our stuff on our end. He's back now. Yeah. So it's not a big deal. We noticed that it's only because of the Wi-Fi that happens there, Carl. But no big deal. We'll work through it. You were just talking about getting how to get followers and stuff like that. So that's where you were at. So you can continue on from there.
Yeah. So there, the social media piece is so big now, and how to wire that whole piece. So as a young artist, number one, what I learned about country music and my experience about getting kicked out of Nashville is that I could write R&B songs, but it's different in writing country songs. There's a difference. And so you have to have great songs, great material. So I would encourage writers to not always write their own music as well. Sometimes we write things and we think it's the best thing, but it's not always the best record. But find you great songs, co-write if you can, and always write with someone who's better than you are. For example, Jackie Jack White, he's had number one hit songs, and then of course I write with a guy named Wood Newton as well. Wood Newton's had hit songs with Oak Ridge Boys, Bobby Sue, Kenny Rogers. So these people are better songwriters than I am, and I see a total difference in my writing compared to when I first started. So I would encourage young people to connect with the right people. But the social media, it's important. So you gotta get some help too. I mean, Sauerkraut, you're doing all that work there behind the scenes, helping Don's show, and really that's part of the challenge that young artists have, including myself sometimes, not having the right support.
Yeah, you need that guy behind you to make your show a success type thing, right?
Yeah. That's the real success.
Well, we work together here like quite a bit, and it's here at Access. We're more of a family. If Sauerkraut needs a hand, he'll just call me. I need a hand with this, I call him. This whole social media thing that you're talking about. Carl, they say that internet radio and social media is going to bring the internet and the independent artists to the limelight. And right now, internet radio since COVID is up about 86%. And
absolutely.
I can tell you the numbers at our show. Like, we used to be coast to coast here in Canada. Now we're coast to coast in the United States, Canada, the UK, Germany, parts of Ireland. We're all over the place now. And our show is growing each and every day. Thanks to guys like you coming on and helping us and supporting us.
Don't forget that YouTube is worldwide too. So this is going to be worldwide.
Okay.
YouTube is worldwide. So this will be worldwide. So just our radio station is only on 5 channels, or 5 countries, but YouTube itself is everywhere.
Well, you know what I meant.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I meant. What are you, just in the mood to make me look like a jackass today or what?
Always. That's my job.
Hee
You know.
haw,
Hey,
hee
everybody, we're with the
haw,
Don Pierce Show.
hee haw, hee
Be
haw,
quiet. You
hee
just be
haw,
quiet over there.
hee
You know,
haw.
you may be 2,600. You may be 2,600 miles away, but airplanes are flying.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, technology. So,
Oh, good Lord. Hey, you're with the Don Pierce Show with Access Radio right here at www.axisradio.ca. I got to get that in sauerkraut once in a while. Anyway, we're with Carl Ray right here live, and we're having such a great time with Carl. Carl, I don't even know if I want to let you go. I should just keep you here full time. Do your own radio show.
well, I got a question for you, Don. So I'm always curious.
Okay, you shoot.
So when you listened to the song and saw the video, what went through your mind, and what did you think about?
Yep. I lost him.
Oh, he was asking you, when you saw the song and watched the video, what went through your mind and what did you think about?
Well, I'll tell you what went through my mind at first is there is no truer statement than that, the song. And what through my mind is, our younger generation that's coming up, they have an opportunity right here, right now to make a difference. Because when people say our youth is our future, it is. But our future has to stop the hate first before, I don't care if you're Canada or United States. We've got to bring our countries together within our countries before we can start worrying about world affairs. I can tell you that right now. If countries would worry about what's in their borders first and correct the problems that are there, then this world might end up being a better place. But as for the song, you got to look, just the title itself. I stand with this country. So what does that mean to you, Sauerkraut? Someone said to you, I stand by this country.
Yeah, it means that you want the country to be solidarity. But what I thought about that video, when I saw that video, the only thing I could think of, you need to get Nancy Pelosi out of there.
Yeah, you know what I thought?
I had to say that because you mentioned it earlier.
It was so funny, man. When they would say,
man, only you.
when they would say Nancy Pelosi, I chuckled, because they didn't even go. They stopped at Nancy Pelosi. They didn't even go on. And so when I responded to this one lady who, and she didn't even know that the other people were in the video because she stopped. And so she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I said, "No." I said, "It's okay. It's okay." I just, like I said, I respond to a few people, but not a lot of people. And she had to change her hearts.
You should respond to everybody.
Yeah.
Carl, have you ever been into a situation? I'm going to ask you this, kind of being the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Someone enjoys your music. They love your music. They're communicating with you. And then all of a sudden they find Carl Ray is a black man. Have you ever had anybody say, hey, I didn't know you were a black man, and then just, turn the table kind of thing?
I haven't had that experience, but I have had experiences, as I've said, where, for example, I do bluegrass too, and I have a bluegrass album out called "Coming Home." By the way, it's bluegrass gospel at its best, and I have Miss Rhonda Vincent, who's the queen of bluegrass. She performs with me on a record, the old Rugged Cross. But when I play bluegrass, I've had sometimes a black person, and again, people try to put you in a box. They'll lean their head to the side and they'll say, "Well, why are you playing that music? You shouldn't play that music. You should stick to your roots." And I'm saying, "Well, what are my roots?" So that's an opportunity for me to have a conversation with that person. But some people, I just choose not to. I don't ignore them, but I don't engage. I said, "Well, thank you for your comment," and I keep trucking. Because
the reason I brought that up, and I'm going to say the reason I brought that up is because I watched an interview with Charlie Pride the other night,
Mm.
an old interview, kind of prepare myself for the show and seeing kind of what he went through. And, he was saying that, he would go to a venue and actually have people walk out just because he was a black man. And to me, I just, if you like the guy's music, what the hell's the difference what his skin color is?
Yeah.
And I wanted to touch base with that just a little bit because, we're going to get kind of back into the struggles that a black man has in this industry. And
Right.
do you find it's just in the country field, or do you think it would be easier if you were a rock star, or like you said, rhythm and blues, or hip hop artist? You think it would be easier to you to approach these record labels as a black man playing a different genre of music?
That's a great question. That's a loaded one too, because there's so many dynamics. Speaking about the country feel, I will tell you, when I started with country, I can look back and I can say wholeheartedly that I wasn't that good, right? I had a heart. I wanted to do something. I aspired to do something great.
I knew that was gonna come. We lost them there. I
Yeah,
saw I
well,
saw the
we're just
picture go.
about
So
at the. Yeah, it kind of went funny there. Yeah, we're kind of at the end of our interview here with him. Anyway, we're getting about the 8:30 mark.
yeah,
About 19 minutes after. We only got about 10 minutes here. We'll get him back in here. And man, what a great guy! Eh?
yeah. No,
So
he's
down to earth.
down to earth, and he's
Yeah.
open
Yeah.
to talk about it. Hey, he's back now.
Yeah.
So shh,
Yeah.
shh.
So,
No, just kidding.
so
Go
when
ahead,
you,
Carl.
so whether you're going in country music, or whether you are a corporation at the Coca-Cola company, or you're at Google, you have all of these different glass ceilings or barriers, uh, or people preventing you from moving on because they have these biases. You're not smart enough. You're not good enough. You're not, you know, as a people, you and I, everybody listening here, at some point, you're dealing with somebody who doesn't believe that you can do something. And I'm saying to you, if you listen to my voice, you just keep going and you keep fine tuning your craft. You keep getting better. You stay open to being coached. You stay open to learning. You stay open to being better and getting better. And sooner or later, things will give. And then the other thing I had to learn, Don, is that everything that I want to do is not necessarily the thing I should be doing, right? And everything that I want to do, I'm not always good at. So find those things that you really are passionate about and cultivate that. And then the other things will kind of take care of themselves. The racism, the glass ceilings, the barriers, uh, all of that stuff, because those things are going to always be in our environment, in our world. But we have to, as individuals, learn to kind of get past, almost have Teflon skin in a way, hear it, learn from it, but keep trucking.
I
Man,
like the
that's can't
trucking
be any better
analogy, and
phrase.
I'm
Thank
pretty
you for
I
saying
pretty
thought
keep
I
down
it,
with
thought
it.
you
keep,
I
keep
thought you would
trucking
like
because
it. I thought you'd like that.
I'm
Yeah.
a trucking, Yeah, we got a lot of drivers. Actually, we do have a lot of drivers that follow our show because I am an ex-truck driver and I'm a big supporter of truck drivers. But you know what, Carl? It's come to the time where I got to say goodbye. But I want to thank you very much for being here with us, man. I enjoyed having you, man. You can come back here anytime. I got your emails. Your songs will be added to our playlist. Man, I want to have you back and have
I love
a
to.
more in-depth conversation about the music and
Yeah, absolutely.
not get into the black or white thing and just talk about Carl and his music. And
Absolutely.
I want to thank everybody for joining us on this Access special with Mr. Carl Ray. Man, what can we expect from Carl in the future?
Well, what's happening now is the record is growing so fastly. I'm doing a lot of interviews now. So in the season where we have COVID, we're still trying to promote the record. And so I would just encourage people to go to www.carlray.com for more information. Of course, when you talk about the video I stand with this country. Love for you to go look at that video, share it with your friends, pass it on. And then also on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, I'm call country music artist Carl Ray, country music artist Carl Ray. So you can like me there, and on that you'll see updates of some of the shows that are coming up. Some of them are virtual, some of them. By the way, I'm going to be doing your Halloween show. I'm going to come back and do that with you guys as well. So. Uh,
That's terrific news. I'm glad that you're doing that because, we've got a lot of great artists from around the world, and I would welcome you to be a part of this show. And I'm glad that you are being a part of this show, Carl.
Yeah, I already signed him up the other day. Sorry, I
I
forgot to mention that to you. I guess I should probably mention that to
I
you.
was going to say, yeah, I would hate to look like an idiot and email the man and ask him twice.
Yeah. No, when I was on the phone with him doing the pre-interview, I had spoke to him about it, and I had told him about it. He's like, "Hey, man, that's an awesome idea. I'd love to do that." And so, yeah, we're gonna have Carl Ray on there. Right now, I think we have Robert Eskridge locked in, right?
Robert Eckridge, Robert George,
Rob George,
Carl Ray, Sharon Marie White.
Sharon Marie White. I'm glad
Rob
you said
George,
that. I thought you said Sharon
Rob
Marie
George
Osborne.
No. Come on. We don't call Sharon anymore. Did you not catch my show yesterday?
No.
We had the 4 hours of country music in here yesterday. We had in our chat line, Carl, yesterday. We had the who's who of country music.
Oh yeah, yes.
We had Robert Eckridge from Robert Eckridge and Southern Days. We had Rob Gord, the breakout country artist of the year in the U.S. here yesterday. We had Sharon Marie White, Rob Hitchcock. We had them all here yesterday. Carl, you should have been around yesterday. It would have been. We had the who's who of country music, and that's what some of our guests do. They come back and they join us and they talk to their fans via our chat line. Just it helps them get their message out too. And you're welcome to do that anytime, Carl, that you choose to.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, and what an awesome.
Geez, I'm excited now that you're coming out for Halloween, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I just got to figure out my costume.
Well, I decided I'm going to go out as a surgeon. I'm going to wear a mask. Super easy, right? Everybody's got one of those masks now, so that's what I'm going to do.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's
no doubt, eh?
Yeah.
I got to tell you, Carl, it's been a great pleasure to have you here.
You guys are doing a wonderful thing for us artists, so thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Carl.
You do a wonderful, you know what? It's a great thing to have these guys on our show. Carl, thank you for joining us here today at Access TV and Access Radio. I surely appreciate you coming on my show here and sharing your music and sharing your talent with us. And we hope that you will come back and join us. Do not forget Halloween night, folks. Carl will be back a part of our Access Spectacular Spooktacular. Yes, brought to you by Access Radio and come on now, SoundCloud.
Axisradio.tv.
He's not listening.
No, I'm listening. There's a delay on just yours.
SPS,
yeah, Ontario Fire Prevention Service.
Yeah, I know this.
Yeah,
you got to get rid of that bloody delay.
Yeah, well, that's on your end. I don't know what it is. No, because we don't have the delay from our artist ever. It's only on your end, so there's got to be something with your tablet. There's got to be some sort of setting that's there.
You're gonna fix?
Well, it's your tablet. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but we'll figure it out.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do exactly what we do all the time. I'm going to get on my phone. We're going to FaceTime, and I'm going to show you the pad, and you're going to say, hit that button.
Yeah, I think I'll have to do that.
Like you do every day.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord. Anyway, guys, thank you for being with Access TV.
I see.
You got something to say now?
Yeah, I see Carl's picked up his guitar. Are you going to play us out, Carl?
Carl's going to play us out. Thank you for joining us, guys. It's been a pleasure here at Access Radio in conversation, an Access special with Summer Customers Talk Show with Mr. Carl Ray, man. I'll be back at 2 for our regular show. Mr. Carl Ray, take it away, buddy.
Sometimes it feels like we're so far away. Don't say things we used to say. I can't remember the last time together we lost in each up in a hurry and always seem to worry and losing when it's all about and slowly down. Let's get out of this town. I just wanna run. I just wanna run away and live wide open, set on fire, crazy like we used to be. No matter where we're going, up on the mountain, down by the B-side, till we find the love that we fell into. I just wanna run away. I wanna lay down, nothing but the sound. My name on your lips. We'll let it all go. Move in real close. Find that place again. I just wanna